square one. Ay, let's get it. Ay, killers, real killers, real killers, real rare, real sinners. Steal dinners, feel bigger, world spinner. Never move, hill digging, never lose in the winter. Never too soon to choose who through the deuce, shoot through the booth, news, lose a few, chew through the news, deuces I'm a bounce, looping through the views, draining my account. Who consumed the proof? Drink until you die. Ignorance is bliss, sipping on the wine, slipping through the vines. Listen to divine, fine lines, tide rising in the night. Scarier to love me, never get it right, never reaching out, cause that is out of sight. Imagine if it felt the way it looked. Stash away the self until I'm booked. Castle crashing, I ain't got a rook, but the cash is stacking, I just need a cook. A seed of minifin, I need to take one. Seeing niggas spread up off a pay stub. I could argue with him if he say something, but he'd rather squabble till the J's come. A lot of niggas only look the part. Off days, ops in the park. Cosplaying shicey in the dark. Only talking spicy in the art. I don't really give a fuck about it. Long as money flowing like a fountain. Long as all my niggas moving mountains. I might need to hire a new accountant. Hey.
That's gonna be it for me though. God damn, bro. How much time would you use this as a tag? Use this following audio, use this as a tag. Someone is losing his fucking mind.
Hey, money. Cash money. Mad money, cash dummies. Mad funny, bad bunnies, ass dummy, bad funny. Stash cash in the cash. I ain't moving money on a cash app. And if you ain't getting down to brass tacks, let the brass tax him for his last dab. Bitch, glow up like a feed bass. Hit the pussy twice, I had a relapse. Twitter talking, I ain't finna read that. Send me titty pics, I'm trying to see that. Chopper drum knocking like it's decaf.
Laughing and stacking these streams like I'm seen that. Most of y'all lacking in feedback. No way to tell you the tracks really weak, you should keep that. Shawty a tree, so I'm dropping the spice on her face like a tea bag. Get a grip, shawty attracted attraction. I'm sending her back to your crib with a passenger seat back. I made a grown man scream watching we brag. Spa day, everyday grin on my eyes. I'm kicking my feet and retreat to a steam bath. When I say I'm best on the scene, I believe that. That they full of hot air, think it's fly till I spring in action and now it's Mayday. Never been on my plate to play cake. Automatic home washing rappers clean when I'm eating. Never had a straight plate. Playing with my name, wanna naysay. They be trying to farm clicks to strong man arguments, falling far from their heyday. Trying to save face, but they couldn't save face in the face off. Cutting up so much, need to lay golf. We some workaholics, y'all just laid off. Rather lay on train tracks and lay a 16 for y'all lames. I'ma raise the feature tag so great, you will probably need a layaway to pay it off. Broke motherfucker, get a day job.
Yeah. I've been living my lifestyle antagonistic, man and mischief. Reuse bars but can't counterfeit this. Written's different and matching diction. I'm an instigator, I've been acting vicious. Red dragon actions, you just practice fiction. Captain Chatter, y'all just passive bitches. Catch 'em lacking, they just shat their britches. If I run up on them, they get packed with quickness. Ask forgiveness like a massive Christians on the social ladder, but your hands are slipping. Don't have final hours, now your fans are missing. It'd be sad to see you now, we're kinda missing. But you set the fires on your own damn bridges. Fanning flames, acting victims, man I feel like guys. And when I handle business, I got plans in motion you gon' have to see. This retaliation, why you mad at me? Like thankfully, I only answer to God, and that means that I answer to me.
Only answer to prayers, I mean when it's man to man. It's hand to hand, how they plan in the hand of the king. You hop how I was born on my peak in a squad of spotter, ain't no hope for the weak.
Why you talking to me? Can I stand the pandering? Last man standing, no stronger than we. I might be sucking a fugi, you call for an open. Best know I bring nothing but heat. Don't flamingo, I'm a walker, I please. String 'em up and now they walking for me. Dio Brando, if I so much is standing, the whole world is holding its deeds.
Been a minute since a pigeon written notes of fiction. Bitches thinking Brody missing riches. Brule how we living, you ain't fit the picture. You get put in portraits. Could be friend or foe, they falling fortress. Snail trailing while I'm Vega punkin'. Putting shells in frames up while they family watching. Fuck it, you done pressure we pressure playing. Bro, we stepping, clicks get hurt from out of frame. Moving like the doobie bugging. Mary Yeoman flowing, no one do be cutting. Shit out KG colders with my hobby pumping. Still ain't never in foes or ways of foe try fighting. Poe comp collecting coins from crown clutches. Crown puppets, foot land, flip the sea to see a bad from it. Ain't a scheme, will team will touch my plan on it. Even kings answer to the beans up in the sky.
And see this god impatient, got a complex, but it ain't complicated. Body, any squad the face. I'm only option coughing on some rocket gym shit.
Brody blast them off, monsters talking aimless. Squawk, call, chimera, all beasts and making home. Colo, Rob, Rove, crossing faces. True fan of Venice, they ain't find the pages. Off from burning bridges, had them Jogo logos. Just a touch from sugar, took him out the photos.
Hi guys. Happy Saturday. It's makeup palette day. We have Shino, congrats on first, Rex, congrats on second, and Cheese Cube, congrats on third. Hello, hello everybody. I was so excited for today. I did mention in my pinned message that I have alerts turned off for today, simply because I am recording for a YouTube video, turning this into an edited form of content. I know, right? It'll be my like I think my second recorded like an edited fucking video, because I did the comfort ASMR, but this will be like something more kind of upbeat and fun. I'm really, really excited about this. Let me message. About okay, message him. Hi, Paranoias. Oh shit, I forgot about my fucking toggles and shit. Okay, there you go, there you go. Like, what the fuck? Oh shit. I tried right-clicking my fucking Twitter to get rid of notifications like you would do on Discord. I am a fucking mess right now. Shy Guy noises. Meow. Meow meow. I I'm really, really excited about today. I have been working on this very, very hard, and I am so excited to show you all what I have done. Long time no see, Val. It's been ages. You're exaggerating, you're exaggerating. Let me pull up this real quick. Not that, I want this so I can zoom in on this. I mean, oh, my fucking eyeballs. My sweetie, hi. Hi, Flurry. Can I get a shout out for Flurry, please? Do I have you? I don't have you as a VIP. What the hell? FLEURICORE. There. That's my baby Flurry, aka Baby Doll. She is a rat VTuber, and she's a cutie. And she was a big help to me during the whole designing the palettes and stuff like that. Her opinion was very valuable to me. Thank you. Had lots of help and insight with my makeup palette, so I'm really grateful to those who helped me kind of get into the flow of it. Obviously, like, I did the majority of the work myself, but definitely would not be the same without these guys, so I'm very grateful for them. I did say this earlier, but it's also pinned, so no alerts today, just because I am recording, so it's just so it'll be easier for my editor. So I apologize if you follow, subscribe, whatever. I will definitely acknowledge it. But I'm just gonna be making sure that I have just the best possible quality audio that I can. I'm fucking sick, so that's one thing. But in a few minutes we're gonna actually kind of like kick into things, because we have 20 VTubers we gotta go over today, and it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. I'm really fucking excited. I hope people will want to tune in and see if they got turned into a pretty palette, because I worked very hard on them, and I would cry if people don't like them. My recording's still going, sweet. I gotta make sure everything's kind of running smooth. Everything should be a-okay, knocking on wood today, that everything kind of works properly. I'm gonna just quietly self-promote in other people's Discord servers real quick. Oh, that's so cute. Okay. Alright. Do I sound okay, guys? Like, is my volume good, or do I sound like fucking shit? Is that Game Boy Jones? It is Game Boy Jones. Subimaru, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the arcade. Again, alerts are off for today. So I apologize if you don't get like a acknowledgement right off the get-go, but I promise I see you and I appreciate you. Hello, hello. No, you sound great. Okay. I know I'm sick and like I probably should do this when like I'm healthier, but I'm way too excited to not do this live. So I hope that people will be able to kind of like bear with me while I am a sick baby. You know what? Maybe I can find a different way to kind of view this artwork. Oh god. Dying. Dying slightly. Have my thingy pulled up. I'm so excited, but I'm also so nervous. I'm okay. You know, like I went out into like go like I normally do like 5 minutes beforehand so I can like get myself ready and whatnot, and my fucking landlord's dog starts like going crazy outside, so I had to like call her. I'm like, Gemini, get your ass inside. And then I look at her and she's like sitting in the living room. I'm like, listen, I'm working, I'm doing a work thing, and you cannot be barking like that. Like you cannot be doing that. I'm also doing a recording. Like don't be naughty, you know what I mean? I'm like, don't be naughty. Don't be a naughty girl. You gotta be good. And you gotta be quiet. I'm like, I gotta make sure that she's a good girl and she doesn't go roo 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 while I'm doing this. Oh, she's outside my door. Maybe if I bring her in, maybe she'll be quiet, but I also like I don't trust her at the same time. Doggo stream now. Yeah, that sounds about right for Gemini. Sounds right up her alley. She would absolutely do that to me. It's Gemini's world. We're just living in it. My stream was giving me so much grief right before I went live, and I'm like, please, not before I fucking do this fucking live stream. There's no fucking way. I'm like, fucking hell, please don't fucking break down while I'm trying to do it. My model wasn't like showing up on OBS or anything like that. I had to fucking restart my PC like 2 minutes before I went live, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta log into everything again. I gotta fucking pull up all my fucking images and shit. I gotta fucking change my title and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm fucking panicking. I'm panicking. Like like it's fucking, I feel like a chicken with its head cut off. Like OBS could be such a brat. It is, OBS is very bratty. Fine by that, for real, she's a cutie. Gemini is very cute. She's cute, but she's loud. She's loud, and she hears something, she barks. She smells something, she barks. She's just a barker. She's just a yapper, and listen, I can appreciate when like a girl knows what she likes, but listen, I'm trying to talk about something I'm passionate about. Like, what the hell? I just need them to, just let me do this, and then you can bark as much as you want once I'm done. Oh my god, I'm really fucking nervous, but I'm also like super excited. I'm like, I hope people like them. I spent so long on them, more than I would like to admit. Like, it took a lot of time to kind of, we love a verbal dog to an extent. Exactly. I put a lot of time in consideration, especially for like certain palettes. Like, everybody has the same layout, and same layout as in everybody has the same number of like pans. Like the pans are all the same, so it's 23 different colors, and there's 18 what we call matte shades, so shades that don't have any like glitter or anything like that in them. And then I have 5 like glitter / like shimmer shades in each palette. So everybody has the exact same thing, just different colors based off their VTuber model. But we'll get into that in a second, and I will be showing off some examples that I made, so people can kind of get like a rough idea of what it is that I did. I need to take a drink though, I am dying. Okay. But today, we are looking at all the VTuber palettes I designed. So I selected 20 different VTubers, and I decided that I was going to turn them into eyeshadow palettes. There were so many like amazing designs that it was really hard to pick just 20. but I wanted to make sure that I give the most variety and the most like interesting VTuber designs I saw a chance to be turned into palettes. But I would love to do this again. I would love to turn other VTubers into palettes, and you know, if people like what I did today, maybe I can do it again. But we're gonna go ahead and we're going to take a look at the example palettes that I made, just so people can get a rough idea of what I have done. So we'll worry about, I'll move over when I'm doing this one. So I did 4 example palettes, each relating to an OC or a VTuber persona for myself and 3 very close people to me. So Piancho gave me their persona, because they don't exactly have a VTuber model, but they do have a sona that they use a lot in their artwork. So I used that as a reference to turn them into their own eyeshadow palette. I obviously turned myself into an eyeshadow palette. It's based off of myself and my motorcycle Rush that I drive. The top row of the palette represents me, the bottom one represents Rush, and the middle row represents the both of us combined. And I'm not saying that every palette has a story behind it, but just because I don't know everybody's lore, their backstory, whatnot, I purely have what their model looks like. So this is just my own kind of interpretation of what I think their palettes would look like. Again, some of them have a little bit more kind of like a process put into them. So like example for mine. So I have my top row for myself, the bottom row for my motorcycle, and then this middle one is like our colors that we have in common. With this one being the combination of my main colors and his main colors. So it's kind of like the center of the palette. And then let me turn off my chat widget while I'm at it. And so we have my friend Baby Doll's, oh my god, there goes Gemini. Fucking Christ. Okay. So we have my friend Baby Doll, aka Flurrycore, who is in chat right now. She is a rat VTuber, and I loved creating her palette. Like, I loved how I did the layout for it. She has a lot of greens in her hair. She has a beautiful, like, I don't know what you would call it, Flurry, but she has like a choker, and it has like this really kind of like pretty color like in the middle. It's like one of the highlight colors, so I thought I would put that in there. And then she also has lots of purples. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I incorporated some of her main colors in there. And I also made sure that each palette had at least somewhat of a distinction between the two of them, so that, or like between each of them, so that you know, you have like your base, you have like a base shade right here, and then you kind of have like a darker shade, and then you can kind of like, it goes down the line. And then hold on, I gotta, don't look at this real quick, just don't fuck. Ah! I don't know where to put myself. Fuck. I'm panicking. I'm panicking. I'm panicking. Okay. Alright. Give me a second. Okay. And so, for... he gave me so much shit for this. So, Kono, he was like, Vel, why would you even fucking bother making a color palette for me? Because I'm fucking colorblind. And I told him, shut the fuck up. I can do whatever I fucking want. So I did it anyways. And for his palette specifically, I took I spent the longest on his palette, surprisingly. Because I wanted to make sure that he would be able to like distinguish between the colors. Like they're each different enough to where he would be able to see it through his eyes. And I double checked with a few other friends who are colorblind, who have the same kind of type of colorblindness that he does, to make sure that they could distinguish between the different colors so that it would be easier for them to see and understand. So we have kind of like some softer kind of like purpley colors right here, just because that's referencing like the colors that are on his current model. But then I reference his what his like, if he had like a actual VTuber model designed after like what he wanted with like the reds in his like jacket and stuff like that. So these are shades of reds. And then he also has golds in both models. So I put some golds here, and then they're kind of like going into like browns and stuff to be neutral. And then this bottom row is just grays to kind of like keep it balanced. But I made sure that he would be able to see them in their entirety. So, and he was like, there's no point in fucking doing it, I can't fucking tell. And I'm like, yes, fucking can. If you can tell the difference between the colors, then I'm doing something right. Like, how fucking dare you? Put some respect on my name, especially when it comes to my fucking passion. Yeah. I spent, his took like 2 hours to work on, just because I was getting multiple opinions about it, because I wanted to make sure that people could fucking distinguish the colors. And yeah. But everybody has 23 shades, 18 are matte colors, and then 5 are glitter and shimmer shades. Okay. I'm super excited, and I hope that people actually fucking like what I did. I'm very happy with like how the other ones came out. I will say that the other ones that I did, oh my god, Coda, thank you so much for the subscription at tier 1. Thank you, I appreciate you. Let me double check one more thing before we get into the actual presentation. I did mention in my original post about the palettes that I what is it? I was pairing each palette with a perfume or a cologne that I think would fit the vibe of the palette itself. So it's not based on the VTuber, it's based purely on the palette. So it's not always gonna like fit the color scheme or anything like that. Some of them do, some of them don't. It's just kind of like what I interpreted the vibe of the palette to be. And I also took into consideration how the original model looks. So that's kind of how I picked the perfume or cologne that goes with each palette. Yeah, I'm really happy with how everything turned out. And I'm really sad that I couldn't pick, you know, every single VTuber, because there were 189 submissions for that, and I only picked 20. And I was originally gonna like do smaller palettes, And so I would be able to do more, but I decided that I wanted to give everybody the opportunity to have like the most like variety for each of their palettes. So I still kept the 20, but I decided to do a larger pan size so that everybody would be able to be represented in the best way possible in like in my own personal like take of it. So I hope that people like what I did. Um let me set up my presentation real quick. Um and we will switch over to that screen. Yay! So, like I said, hi Kono. Can you show us my palette? I want to see it. You didn't see it? What the hell? Okay, I got you. Ah, fuck. Okay, let me go back. I'll show you. Let me pull it up again. Give me a second. Open browser. Okay, I'm going back. Let me move out of the way real quick. There's your palette. Hello? Hi, Stargirl. Hello. Good to see you guys. I didn't get a notification for stream. What the hell? But yes, so earlier I was talking about the example palettes that I did for three other people aside from myself. What the fuck? Oh. Hello.
Hello. Hi, welcome on in. Why is a makeup palette that large? I'm so confused right now.
There's larger palettes than this.
That's like all the colors.
No, it's not. It's literally not, Kono. There's like
22 colors there.
It's 23 actually. I was originally gonna do like a 12 pan palette, but I wanted to give people the best opportunity to like be represented by a color palette. So yes. I did it in a way that would show off your whole. They would die to see the Morphe palettes back in the day. On God. I literally work at a makeup store. I see all the different they have some of the largest makeup palettes in the industry. They have I've seen 48 palettes. You know what I mean?
Okay, can you explain for me? Because okay, in the top row, and I'm gonna zoom in for this for my chat right here. Hey chat, if you're not watching Velocity VT and you're not double fisting both of us, what are you doing?
Quit saying double fisting.
I refuse. Those in the top row, those three middle colors, those reds, they all just look the exact same to me.
Really?
I literally can't see any difference. Yeah. Welcome in, Drill Pale.
I checked with a couple other people who have the same type of color blindness as you, and they were able to tell the difference.
Okay, I can maybe tell the difference between the
So this one, this one right
from
here.
The right.
This one right here is one of the shimmer shades that I picked for you. And
There's a clear difference. I'm colorblind. I can't see red properly, chat.
He's colorblind. Cut him some slack. He was like, "Why would you even bother making a palette for me? I'm colorblind." And I'm like,
"That's exactly what I do when I sound like." You can.
It's exactly what you sound
like.
You're a big
girl.
So this is. But yeah, this one is one of a shimmer shade. This one right here is kind of this is I referenced when you sent me the one of your actual lawyer design, if you had your own model, that was pulled from that palette. And then this was a combination of a color from your what the fuck, 7-Eleven, what the hell?
Welcome in 7-Eleven. That's great.
This color is a mix between something off of your lawyer design outfit and then the one off of your current model So
Gotcha.
yeah,
What's with like those shades that kind of look like textured on them,
like this one.
little bits of white? No, two to the left, to the left.
This one? Oh, I messed up on that one. Don't look at it.
Did you just mess up left and right?
It didn't. I had a fucking like a fucking. I didn't see it until just now. Leave me alone. I'm sorry.
That like those colors, like
These
those ones
ones?
with like a little white and texture in them. What are those for?
Like these ones?
Yeah.
Oh, those are shimmer shades, so they have glitter. So each palette that I design, I'd make the most insane smoky eye with Konotomo. True. His palette is very shimmer, not shimmer, smoky eye coated.
Yeah.
But I designed your palette specifically going from like the lightest colors on the right hand side to the darkest colors on the left, so it would be a little bit easier to distinguish for you because I know you're colorblind.
I can tell the difference as I go left to right. So
Okay.
Thank you so much for making a palette for me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're like, why would you even bother? I'm like, I may do as I please. And I love
can't
you,
do as
so
you
I can
please.
do whatever I want because I want to show you that I love you and care about you.
I love you. I love you too. I love you too, Ho.
Ho!
Bye.
Bye. Oh my god. Can you believe this? He called me a hoe. Alright, let me move back over here. Okay. But for now, let me switch over here while I get everything else set up. I am pulling up my presentation. Present. Okay. Now we go back here. And hello everybody. We are turning VTubers into eyeshadow palettes. Yay! I'm so fucking excited that I'm finally able to kind of like show off everything that I've been working on thus far. Looking gorgeous as always. Well, thank you so much. I cannot wait for you guys to see everything that I came up with. I hope that, you know, it lives up to people's expectations. But obviously I know that I'm not gonna please everybody. But I'm happy that I get to share one of like my personal like passions. I work in makeup every single week. I do a little bit of everything at my store, so I'm a beauty advisor. I help people find I shade match people, so helping people find their perfect color for their makeup. I help people find whatever it is they are looking for, whether it be you know, body care, hair care, makeup, obviously. And perfume. I love discussing perfume. So to pair along with each of the palettes that I designed, I picked out a perfume and a cologne that fits the vibe of the palette. So I'm really excited to show off what I what I came up with. That being said, this is my personal take on makeup palettes. I have 4 years in the beauty industry for experience, but I've been doing makeup since I was 12 years old, so I've definitely got, you know, my own kind of like personal opinions and my personal takes on how makeup palettes should look. But obviously, again, if you look at the palette that I designed and you're like, I don't like that, I absolutely encourage you to take your own, or take what I'm doing and kind of do your own spin on it. Maybe there is something that you can see, or you can see that I don't, and I would love to see what people come up with. I would absolutely love to see any kind of, you know, makeup designs for VTubers. But again, I'm a sensitive ass bitch. And if I do something that you don't, if I did something with these palettes that you don't like, please be nice to me. I will cry. And then you will feel bad about it. You will feel bad. So we be nice, we be kind, and we keep it pushing. So without further ado, let's get into the first palette that I designed. So the first one I designed was Aston Martin. She did not submit one, but she is one of my Oshis, one of the main reasons I got into VTubing. She is a chinchilla roller racing VTuber. She's very cute. She's very sweet. I love her streams. I love her aesthetic. I definitely was inspired by her her overlays and her design when I first started VTubing. So it was really important to me that I was able to represent somebody who was very influential to me. Obviously, she has lots of pinks and purples in her design. So including those colors, especially that very hot pink right here, that was really important to me. Making sure that I had, you know, a wide a range of like pinks and purples to kind of to work with. I think that especially like these two colors, you wouldn't normally see them kind of paired together, but I think that that's what can make a palette really interesting, is pairing colors that typically you wouldn't think to put together. I think that Ashton's color scheme works really well as like a fun, energetic palette, and I think that it definitely is something that I would love to, you know, play with and explore, come up with new designs for eyeshadow. I think that it would absolutely look stunning. And then more on this, on the right hand side of the palette, we have kind of more, what I say, I would say neutrals. I wouldn't say neutrals because, you know, I have like these blues and these greens in here. But the top row is definitely kind of like softer colors. It's more so one of her patches on her design is cheese. So I took inspiration from that to put these colors here for her. And then I wanted to include like the blues that she has in her design into the palette somehow, but I also know that she kind of has like some sort of like softer kind of like yellowish green in her design, so I included that in just this row to kind of like keep it kind of like similar colors next to each other. And then this bottom row right here is just her eye color. She has very cute green eyes, and I wanted to include that, so that's what this bottom row is. And for the perfume I selected for her, or for this palette rather, I picked the Marc Jacobs Daisy Wild. From smelling so many goddamn perfumes in my time of working at my company, I think that the Marc Jacobs Daisy Wild is a perfect representation of everything that I think this palette would bring. It's fun, it's energetic, it's sweet just like her, and I think that it's just absolutely like a perfect representation of what Ashton's palette would feel like if you were to, you know, go to a makeup store and you were to pick it up and look at it and play with it while you're in the store. So I hope I did her justice with this palette and picking this perfume to kind of pair with it. What do you guys think? What do you think of it? Do you think this captures Ashton's vibes really well, or do you think I kind of fumbled with it? I think I did good, but you know, how I view it and how others view it is going to be, you know, drastically different. You know what I mean? I gotta take a drink. My throat scratchy. Love it. Nodders. Hell yeah. Hi, King Crow. Okay. But next we're going to move on to another person who did not submit one initially, but she's a very famous VTuber in the community, and I just thought I would have to do it. We have Shy Lily! I'm absolutely obsessed with her new design. This one also was a lot of fun to work on. It was really important to it was really important how I designed the layout. Some of the palettes have like kind of like that similar kind of style in how I laid them out, like certain colors in like different sections. I think maybe the one thing I would change about this one is maybe putting the purples in the middle and then putting these ones over here. But I digress. I'm gonna start with the right hand side. So the right hand side is more focusing on Lily's outfit color. So we have like a softer kind of blue here. We have like a very like a baby blue right here, but it's a shimmer shade, so you're able to kind of blend it out, or not blend it out, kind of use it to kind of like intensify the colors that you would use, like this darker blue. There's more, it's kind of like getting into more like what is it? Words are hard. This one's like more of like a purpley blue, and then we have like a nice like sky blue, like shimmer shade right here. And we have more of like a navy blue, and then we kind of have like this kind of grayish blue right here. That represents her hair. She has some of like the prettiest hair. And then for this middle section, she has her little chat mascot, which is a shrimp. So that was the main basis for this bigger section. I did it this way because I know how much Lily cares about her community. And she obviously, what's the flavor of the colors? There's no flavor. You don't eat eyeshadow. But Lily's community is very much like her heart. So it was really important that I kind of like represented that like visually by putting the community's mascot like in the middle. There are like these colors right here for her bow are kind of like more in this like lower section right here, but everything else is pretty much a representation of what her community means to her and how, they allow her to do what she does, and she does everything so wonderfully, and she's an amazing streamer, and I thought I would do a palette based off her. And then she has purple like notes in her palette, like in her facial markings and in her eyes. So this last section, it's not because like she has like red and blue and then those make purple. It just happened to kind of turn out that way visually. But this one is kind of just based off her eye color. And all like the pretty shades of purple that she has in her eyes. She has some like kind of like more like a bluish purple here. But definitely has some of the prettiest purple eyes I've ever seen. Give me 1 second, guys. I got a cough. But that's Shy Lily's palette. And then for the perfume that I selected for Lily, I selected the Viktor and Rolf Flower Bomb Ruby Orchid. This perfume is very sweet, and it has it's sweet, it's florally, it smells exactly like a ripe what's a not a nectarine. I'm trying to think what fruit I would compare it to. I would say maybe I would say the Ruby Orchid is like I hate using this word, but like a juicy like plum, like a very like sweet plum. That's the kind of like vibe that I got from this palette. And I think that it kind of encompasses like just how sweet and how nice Lily and her community are. So again, right hand side is kind of more of her base outfit and her hair. The middle is her community and parts of her red bow. And then the left hand side is her eye color. Eee. Okay. And then let me take another drink because my fucking throat is so scratchy. Like I don't regret doing this, but like my body is like, Vel, what are you doing? Okay. But next on our list is Chewonki. I love pastels. When I was younger, I used to like hate the color pink. And I was very much like I love blue and black and I hate pink. And then I got older and I fell in love with pastels again. So much so that I redid my entire room for I think my 14th birthday. And I painted my walls kind of like this pastel yellow right here. And I had like hints of pink throughout my room. It was very girly pop. It was like every like it was every kind of like, I would say like 5-year-old girl's little dream, except, you know, I also had like posters in my room that would be like you know, related to anime and stuff that I was interested in growing up. Oh, I gotta cough again. My fault. But for Chewonki's palette, it was really easy to kind of get into the flow with his palette. So obviously he's a very like pastel-y, colorful bear. And I had so much fun coming up with this palette. So first row kind of goes from yellow, like kind of like staying kind of like in color categories. So I went from kind of like yellows here into kind of like pinks. And then I went from, in the middle row, I went from kind of like blues into kind of like some purple colors. And then the bottom row is more kind of like greens into kind of like darker blues, because he does have darker blues like in his eyes and whatnot. And then I really wanted to include like this bright like pastel-y color here. It was really important that I included that. It's like a very prominent color in his design. So I wanted to make sure that it was, you know, prominently in the palette. I really had a lot of fun coming up with this. I think like the best part about like doing pastel palettes is coming up with a way to make them interesting because like when people think like of pastels, it's kind of they're like, oh, they're just like lighter, lighter colors of like, like pink, red, orange, stuff like that. And that, it's not like the most interesting way to kind of like organize a palette. But I think that it really kind of just depends on how you kind of lay it out, because you can very clearly tell that this is like a pastel-y palette. Like it's meant to be pastels, but I don't, actively exclude like darker colors like in this kind of like vicinity. Like it's all about how you lay it out. Um because there are some eyeshadow palettes out there that have really good like color placement, and that it makes it flow really really smoothly. But the thing that I kind of want to for certain palettes, I really wanted to focus on making the eyes follow kind of down the rose like this. That was like you'll be able to tell which ones I came or which ones I used like that idea with. Um like I want the eyes to flow this way. Um and I think I was able to kind of encompass that really well with Chewonki's palette. Had an absolute blast making this one. And I need to take a drink again. And then for his perfume, I picked the Sabrina Carpenter Sweet Tooth. It smells exactly like a birthday cake. um it's like a candy shop in a bottle. And it was a no-brainer for me, especially with the gummy bears and the lollipops attached to him. It only made sense for me to pick the Sabrina Carpenter Sweet Tooth perfume. So that's two unkies. What do you guys think? Do you guys like it? Let me cough again. Fucking hell. Fucking love this song, by the way. It was probably one of the songs I have on the repeat. But with that, let's move on to the next one. So, Ophelia Valentine, surprisingly fucking submitted hers, and I like fucking freaked the fuck out as soon as I saw her drop her reference sheet on my post about it. I was like, and I had been on a call with my friend working on some of the palettes when she had submitted it. I was like, so it was a no-brainer that I picked her. She has some of the most unique VTuber designs I've ever seen. The one she sent me was her cowboy design. And she was like, do you like yeehaw vibes? And I'm like, I love yee vibes. Like I fucking love it. I'm smitten. I'm absolutely fiending. I'm frothing at the mouth for an opportunity to make an eyeshadow palette based off of you. Don't tell her I said that. So so this one I also designed with the intention that your eyes would be drawn either this way or this way, from left to right and then right to left, so it can be done either way. The top row is kind of based off of her her hair and off her main cowboy outfit. So obviously her hair is this kind of like icy blonde color, so it was really important that I kind of had these two shades dedicated to that. And then this one is part of her skin tone. And then this is kind of like representing kind of like the ends of her hair leading into the outfits of her, or the main colors of her outfit with like the browns, and that was really important to incorporate. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, guys. And then obviously she has she's a vampire, so it was important to incorporate the reds. So I have a lighter red for kind of a shimmer shade, and then I have this kind of like brighter red right here for one of her like signature colors in the palette, and then leading into kind of like what I would consider like dried blood, so kind of like the brownish reds, and then kind of going into kind of like darker colors, like it was kind of like like a reddish black color, if I remember correctly. And then again, most palettes have some sort of like neutral colors that don't really align with their main color scheme, just to kind of like keep it balanced a little bit. But in her these colors are from her pants, and you know, she has like kind of like the lightest shade in her pants as a shimmer shade, and then kind of like the main body color, and then her shadows, and then kind of just like another gray color to kind of, again, keep it balanced. But she has one of the most gorgeous designs in the VTuber sphere, in my personal opinion. And I'm super grateful that she trusted me to make a palette based off of her. But as for the perfume I paired with it, I picked the YSL Black Opium over red. Smells exactly like cherries and coffee mixed together. It's sweet. It's really strong, and it just, you know, it feels like it would pair beautifully with this palette. If you were going to like a nice like dinner and you had like a beautiful red dress, you can just pair it with like this main row of colors. If you're, you know, this bottom row is kind of like just more, I would say it's a little bit more playful when it comes to like the color scheme. I don't really see a lot of people do like blue, at least like personally I haven't seen a lot of like blue eyeshadow designs. But because most people gravitate towards like pinks and purples and kind of like other stuff like that. Like I know people definitely do like blue eyeshadow designs. I myself do them pretty frequently. But I don't really see a lot of people use blue for their eyeshadow palettes. Or like have like blue centered eyeshadow palettes. So later on we'll kind of like get into palettes that have a lot more kind of like blues in them, which I would love to see people kind of work with. I gotta fucking take another drink, dude. I'm dying. Alright. So now we get into some other designs that I am so fucking excited about. Alright. So we have Dizzy the Christmas Clown. I was super excited to see her design. Her design is so fun and playful. I absolutely had to pick it because like I didn't really see anybody who had a color scheme quite like hers. So I was very interested to to take her take her design and turn it into a palette. So how I worked with most of the colors was I did it in rows. So I did these three paired together, these three paired together, these three paired together, and so on. It gets harder to kind of do that because it's an odd number of colors. So tried doing it to the best of my ability. So you go here, 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 and then these kind of are kind of like my my stragglers. This one is like a pretty is like another row of itself, but these kind of ones just were not able to kind of like fit into the rows themselves. But it was important that the middle row kind of had like the bigger I'm not like the bigger the ones on the outer part are smaller than the ones in the middle because I wanted the middle ones to have like to be like the more like prominent colors in their design. So that's why most of the colors that show up are kind of like the most are in the middle. It's not the same for everybody, but for hers, it's specifically like this middle one is kind of like the more prominent colors in her design. But obviously I had to include that kind of like brighter red right here because of that cute little nose that she got. Absolutely fucking adorable. And then for her perfume, another Marc Jacobs one. It is the Marc Jacobs Perfect Absolute Parfum. It smells woody. It smells like figs, which is something that I really see a lot during Christmas time. Like people like using like fig scented anything. Or maybe that's just like where I grew up, but I see a lot of like fig scented things around Christmas time. I'm not really sure why, but I I think it's really funny to admit this, but when I was picking out perfumes and colognes for people, I went to my work and I took samples and I brought them home to double check if I liked the perfume or cologne that I paired with each one. And I absolutely think that this the Marc Jacobs Perfect Absolute fits the vibe of the palette. Smells kind of like Christmas time. Which is exactly what Dizzy is. She's a Christmas clown, so fits the idea, you know what I mean? But what do we think? We like it? What do you guys think of the layout? I'm gonna take a drink while you guys yap about it for a second. You love the contrast a ton. She has the split design, which I really like. There's some other VTubers in here who kind of have like that split design, or their colors contrast are like so much that I kind of like have to kind of like do like that split kind of look to it, you know what I mean? Like people who have like complementary colors, like one who has like there's one later that has like literally an orange and blue color scheme, so that was really fun to kind of work with. Okay. But let's move on. So next we have Cirrus, and they have a primarily yellow and brown color scheme, and they have pops of color through their tattoos, so it was important that I incorporated that as well. So this middle row is a representation of their tattoos on their body, and the top and bottom row are their other like primary colors. So the top row relates more to their body color scheme, like their body, like their skin and their hair. And then the bottom row focuses on their outfit. So they have like, and then they have like, these are their primary colors in their body. Definitely like included some lighter colors in here. This one's kind of like a lighter gray color. This one's just kind of like a pure white. You're obsessed with, is it this one that you're talking about? Hey, another drink. That makes sense for you, Lucy, because you like the oranges. But we'll get into your palette later. So yeah, so top row is relating to their primary body and hair colors. Middle row is specifically related to their tattoos, because that was very prominent on their reference sheet, so I wanted to make sure I included that. And then the bottom row is for their outfit design. And with the color scheme, it was very apparent that I think that they would smell, I would pair like a woody perfume or cologne with this. So I picked the Burberry Hero Eau de Parfum. It's woody and it's musky, and it also has like hints of amber in it, which is definitely like what I feel like he would smell like. I feel like he would smell like, not in like a bad way, but I think he would smell like tree sap. Like very like if you were to like go up and like just like sniff him like a dog, smells like wood, smells like musky, you know, like how like a forest will smell after rain, like a pine tree forest would smell after rain. That's the kind of vibe I get from him. And then also kind of just like smells like amber. And I bet you smell really good. I bet your VTuber mall smells really good. Musky. I bet you smell really good. Don't take that the wrong way. I'm normal, I promise. I promise that it's not weird. It's not weird. And like a lot of people don't know this actually, but your body, your pH levels can change the way that a perfume smells on you, perfume or cologne. So it's important that if you like the way a perfume smells on paper, that you spray it on your skin and let it dry, because your body chemistry is going to change how it smells. So how it smells on the paper is not going to smell the same on your skin. You want to let it settle into your skin first before you kind of like make any final decisions, because you know, like most perfumes, when you look at them, they kind of have like two like signature things. They'll be like, it's sweet. It's sweet and it's like sweet and floral. But when you spray it on paper, it might smell it might smell like the combination of the two. But if you were to spray it on skin, some people, like, depending on their body chemistry, it'll pull more sweet or it might pull more floral, if that makes sense. And the same thing applies to colognes too. Like I have cologne in my collection too because I like the way that certain colognes smell on me. But you always want to spray a cologne on your skin, especially if you're like a femme presenting person or your sex when you were born is like genetically female, because your body chemistry will change how cologne smells on you as well. So it's just important to kind of like keep that into consideration. I had a cough again. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm really trying. I wish I wasn't feeling so bad. So that, you know, I wouldn't have to stop and fucking clear my throat or anything like that. So I appreciate everybody being patient with me while I do this. But yeah, that's serious. Their design was definitely challenging for me because of just like how kind of like black and white it was to do like with their color scheme, but I think I did a really good job. Alright. And then here's that orange and blue colors color scheme that I was talking about earlier. So we have Misty Kiri. She is a celestial fox VTuber, I believe. I absolutely fell in love with her design because of like how complimentary her palette was. So, again, with her palette, I kind of followed that going by column. So we have these colors and these ones. And then going into kind of like the darker colors in her orange scheme. And then leading into the blues of her design. I think one of the things I would have done differently is include her pretty eye color. I wish I would have done more about that, but there were so many pretty blues in her overall outfit that I just had to stick with. Give me a second, y'all. I gotta cough again. I'm dying over here. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm gonna cough out a lung. This shit hurts like a motherfucker. Oh, there goes Gemini too. Okay. But yeah, she had like probably one of like the most opposing like color schemes in here, like very obviously like contrasting with each other. And I think she had her design overall was absolutely breathtaking to look at, and I feel so lucky that she submitted her her design to be turned into a palette. I love the way that certain blues look when they're paired up with orange. I think that it's just absolutely breathtaking, especially like because it just reminds me of kind of like a sunset, or like a really like vibrant sunset is kind of what I envision with her palette. And with that being said, the perfume that I paired with her palette is the Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Summer Vibes. So this one is my personal favorite perfume. Probably like one like top 3 perfumes that I am currently obsessed with. It has a citrus and peach smell to it. And it just reminds me of, like, in the name it's obviously summer, but just it's summery, it's fun, it's fresh, and I feel like this perfume gives off that same kind of like watching a sunset during summertime on a beach. That's just the kind of vibe that I get from this palette, and I think that this perfume pairs perfectly with it. And I'm so glad that I was able to kind of show off one of my favorite perfumes of all time. And it's fucking discontinued too, which fucking makes me sad. I literally said this like a couple streams ago, but Lucy actually got me a full bottle of it off of a website that was selling it, and it smells exactly like I thought it would, and I fucking am so excited about it. I will say though, like this is like another kind of like perfume fact. So if you don't want a perfume to like last all day, you want to get a toilette, so an EDT. So an EDT is basically just like a lesser oil concentration than, let's say, like an EDP, or just a regular parfum. So whenever people are like, do you want like an EDT or an EDP? If you want the perfume to last longer, you would want to do like an EDP, because it has a higher oil concentration. And then there's also like higher levels of concentration past an EDP, but it really kind of just depends on what your personal preference is. So kind of like if you kind of like rank it on a scale, so a toilette is kind of like on the bottom. It has like less than like a 0.1% of an oil concentration, and then it goes so EDT, EDP, there's there's parfums, then there's like a le parfum, and you have like elixirs, which are probably like one of the strongest ones that you're gonna find anywhere, really. Like the strongest you can get is an elixir. But they also, actually, hold on. So there's EDT, EDP, there's EDP Intense, then there's Le Parfum, or Parfum, then there's Le Parfum, and then there's elixirs. Forgot that intense ones exist. When I literally have a fucking intense, like, I put like an intense version of a perfume in this fucking presentation. Like, I'm a fucking silly fuck. Okay, but that's Misty Curie. They're talking about witch brews. Yeah. Fucking, I mean, if you really think about it, all makeup is just fucking chemistry. Like, perfume making involves chemistry. Making a foundation is a form of chemistry. Making eyeshadow palettes is a form of chemistry. Especially like when you're dealing with I'm sure I have like a red palette somewhere in here, but actually let's go back real quick. Let's just, for example, so reds are typically like reds and pinks are typically called pressed pigments because they require a certain ingredient that makes them really hard to produce. So if you have like reds or pinks in any kind of eyeshadow palette, it's required by law to include that they're pressed pigments, because they're more likely to stain your it's not saying that it's going to stain your eye every single time, but it's a possibility that these reds and pinks will stain your eyes because of the ingredients in it. So the chemistry of an eyeshadow is very important, and it's just as important as the chemistry for a foundation, a mascara, stuff like that. Like all of those require chemistry. So I guess you can consider it like a form of witchcraft. Magical like that. Okay, here's one of my favorite ones to do. Or favorite ones that I did for this And we have Tempest. She is beautiful. So she very obviously has she has a green and purple color scheme. I know they're beautiful. I was obsessed as soon as I saw her design. I'm like, I am absolutely turning you into a palette. There's no fucking doubt about it. How much could I pay you to like call me a bitch? So obviously, like, I focus mainly on the greens and the purples, but there are pops of different colors. So with for example, her flowers right here is that pop of red, so I made sure to include that. And again, these would be considered pressed pigments. So they require a certain ingredient in it that makes it more difficult to produce. But it's important that I include in it because I think that it's important to kind of have those complementary colors. So we have like these acidic greens in here that you know, highlight kind of like some of like the main aspects of like the fire in her design. And then obviously like we have some like some darker greens in kind of like her in her top, in her legs, and then like in the darker parts of the fire. So it was important that I included those right there. And then I wanted to definitely include just like a neutral like white color just to kind of like keep it balanced. And then this one is kind of just like a softer version of her skin tone. And then I also included her hair color. It was really important that I kind of included that because I like, obviously like purple and green are her main colors, but I thought these colors were absolutely stunning paired next to the purples in her design. So I would definitely wanting to keep that. So, and then obviously, you know, purples. So we have some rich kind of like royal purples that you would see kind of like from royalty. We have kind of like just like a darker, like blackish purple right there. Just to kind of like, that's kind of like in reference to kind of like these upper parts of her wings. Then kind of like doing gradients like out there, and then also taking parts from the bottom of her outfit. And then kind of for the layout of it, I wanted to do lighter, well, this is the lightest color in the palette, and then kind of like going in a circle around the palette, going into the darker colors on the outer parts. So lightest color in the middle, and then kind of going darker as you kind of go out from the middle. So I want people's eyes to kind of go from here either this way or that way, just kind of like in that motion. Not saying people have to like do circles like how I was showing it, but more kind of just like, I want your eyes to be drawn you're looking here, I want your eyes to be drawn this way to these colors. Or if you're like, I'm feeling kind of like greens, so you're going here, you kind of go this way. That was my intention with like how I laid out the colors on this palette. And then it's a little funny how I paired the perfume with the palette for this one because of the one I picked. But I chose the YSL Black Opium Illicit. I think that I feel like this palette just would smell very kind of like citrusy. Like when you think of like acidic, you kind of think like of citrus acidic. Oh, hello. Oh, yeah, I'll go back. Don't look at that. But has so the YSL Black Opium Illicit has those like acidic like citrus scents, but they also kind of have they have like kind of like more like floral kind of undertones. And I feel like her palette kind of gives the vibes that she starts out kind of like acidic, but as you kind of like as like it would dry down on your skin, you definitely get like the more like sweet like tones from like the purples. So that's the kind of vibe that I get from her, which is why I chose the Black Opium Illicit. It just so happens to fit with her color scheme a little too well. No, but Tempest is absolutely beautiful, and I'm in love with their design. I love her hair. Her hair is my favorite part. I love the colors. It's probably like some of like my it's like one of my favorite like this part right here was just like one of my favorite kind of like color areas. Mostly because like these are like some of like my mama's favorite colors. So I was like, Mama would like that. She wouldn't like all these other colors, but she would like these colors. But what do we think? What do we think of Tempest's palette? What's your favorite part of her palette? I'm gonna take a drink real quick. Tempest is your favorite so far? Hell yeah! Well, we've got, I don't know how many we've done so far, but we've got quite a few more that we'll be seeing, so. Alright, let me move on to the next one. Okay, yep, we have Take. So this is another, like, pastel palette. And like Chewonki's from earlier, I wanted to draw the eyes from one direction to the other, but instead of it going from right to left, I wanted it to go from left to right. Especially because in her, in the reference sheet that she gave me on Twitter, she has a split model where obviously this one's kind of like her more pastel-y, the pastel-y version of her model, but it got her counterpart for her model was more kind of like more dark and kind of like I would say quote unquote normal for a VTuber model of all things, because a lot of people have like very interesting like look at this cutie, look at this, look at her, she's so cute, I just want to squish her face, she's so cute. So again, the design went from left to right with this palette, but I also did the whole kind of like layering the colors kind of in a certain order. So middle color is the lightest color. And then you have kind of like the side, and then for oop, hello? Why is my model fucking Give me a second. Yeah, so for her model, the middle's the lightest color, and then kind of goes in that kind of like surrounding shape. But you can also have it kind of go from left to right, like visually. But then when you kind of like take a look at kind of like each little, like, it's kind of like broken up into the little sections like with the previous one. So there's multiple ways you can kind of like view the palettes. I wanted to do it in a way that can be done for hers because she has like so much variety in her palette. I wanted to kind of give that kind of duality that she has, especially like between the two models that she showed me. So you can do it based off like the left to right idea, or you can do it from the center kind of going out, depending on which section kind of calls to you more. And then for her perfume that I selected, I picked the Juicy Couture Viva la Juicy EDP. It smells like vanilla. It smells like cookies. Like, it smells like fresh baked cookies, which I think is very funny considering that, you know, she was eating like the image I found of her online was her eating a fucking cookie. Her palette just gives like very like sweet vibes. And she seems like she would I don't know, bake you a batch of cookies and then do your makeup for you if you're having a bad day. So that's why I chose the Viva la Juicy Couture EDP perfume. What do you think? I think she like, again, like I had a lot of fun kind of like coming up with like the layouts for each of these, because you don't want, like, when people like design eyeshadow palettes, you don't want them to all look the exact same in like the way that they're laid out. Some people some palettes are very distinct in how they're designed. But then a lot of them, in my personal opinion, have kind of like too much of like the same kind of layout, and it's not like drawing your eyes anywhere. So I was really wanting to focus on making sure that each one was kind of like visually appealing and your eyes could be drawn anywhere, but there's also kind of like multiple ways you can kind of view it depending on like your personal preference, because some people like doing kind of like the left to right idea. Some people kind of like look for the lightest color and then kind of like branch out from that. So it was important that I kind of was able to capture that with at least like some of the palettes. Some of them are kind of like meant to be observed in like a certain way, but yeah. Nina, thank you so much for the raid. Hi guys, for those of you who don't know, I'm Velocity VT. I'm a bashful monster racer who drives a sentient motorcycle named Rush. I'm a variety Twitch streamer, but right now we are showing off the eyeshadow palettes that I designed. So I apologize for not having the raid notification, but how was stream? What were you doing? Can I get if I have a mod here, can I get a shout out for Nina, pretty please? I would be oh so grateful. Nina, you can always just shout out yourself too. Champ. What are you doing, babes? That's my fucking wife. Nina's my wife. I love Nina. Nina, my girl. I should have kissed you at NPC more. I should have given you the fattest kiss of your life. Let me shout out Nina for myself. Oh, fuck. Just Nina Hope. That's my fucking wife. You were yapping? What were you yapping about? Nina, I fucking love you. What the fuck? I gotta cough again. Holy fuck. Okay, I'm okay now. Not really. I'm still feeling icky. I love you. I love you, Nina. What were you doing, baby? Were you doing music? Were you doing karaoke? Mwah. It's my girl. Alright. I hope stream was good. Just yapping in some reactions. Gotcha. Well, thank you for trusting me with your community. I appreciate you, baby. Good to see you, my love. If you need to raid and run, please feel free to do so. I'm sorry that I didn't have the notifications on. I'm also just recording for a YouTube video. So, that's why. Alright, but let's move on. So next we have... Oh. Dog's barking. Give me a second. Kraken Solve, thank you so much for the fucking... for 3 months at tier 1. Hell yeah, thank you so much. But the next person that we had a design for was Juju. So Juju had probably one of the most complex color scheme wise, as in her palette is extremely monochrome, with pops of red throughout her model. So I really wanted to emphasize on those on those monochrome colors, and then kind of lead into those pops of red. So this palette can kind of be viewed from any kind of perspective. I think that for me personally, my eyes kind of get drawn over here first and then kind of go out in there, which is pretty ironic considering that her main, color palette is very monochrome. But I think that's kind of like the best part about it is just how, even with like a person's like main color scheme being these monochrome colors with, again, with the pops of red, your eyes are still drawn here to these red colors, and then you kind of look at the other colors that make up the rest of her model. So I definitely emphasize more of what her main body and design encompass. But then I also had the little details, like the red in her heart and her hair. I also just had to pick her because her hair has a fucking mouth like my motorcycle does, and I was very excited about that. And she has like, there's definitely like kind of like more purplish grays in her design. She does have some like blue grays, which are kind of like up here, and right here as well, but most of the grays in there are kind of like purplish grays. So you can kind of tell with like this section of colors right here. And then we kind of have like her main skin tone and body colors like right here. And then we get more into kind of like her hair and her one section of her face that has kind of that darker patch, like where she was stitched up. And again, just the reds. And then for her perfume, I picked the Room 1015 Cherry Punk. Lots of cherry scents. I don't know what just called me to it. I actually found this perfume out and about while I was window shopping, and you know, I was like still kind of coming up with what I wanted to do for this makeup palette stream. And I smelled it as I was kind of looking over all the designs that I saw like on my post, and I had this one come up and I was like, you know what, this smells what I think what I feel like would fit the vibe of Juju's model, so that's why I ended up choosing it. But her design, like, you know, you would think that like it would be really easy to kind of like design like a monochrome palette, but I really, this is probably one of the palettes I struggled with a lot. Hold on, I gotta cough again. Like you would think that it would be really easy to kind of like design like a monochrome palette, but I really struggled because I wanted to make sure that there was a lot of variety in the kind of like monochrome parts of it. And I wanted to make sure that, you know, I still like incorporated the color in it. But I definitely struggled with. She was one of like the more difficult palettes to design. Not saying like I loved the challenge of trying to come up with the colors that I would pick for her that fit her vibe, fit her aesthetic, while still being interesting color-wise and being different enough to where, you know, if you were to pick it up, you would be able to kind of tell what's different, and what's, you know, like what the like shades of gray would be. Yeah. I absolutely had a blast with designing her palette though. I loved the challenge that it gave me. And then for the next one, I can't remember who's next. Karina. So, I struggled with trying to pick between if I wanted to do I couldn't decide if I wanted to do like a more red, like a pick like a just like a solely red design, or if I wanted to try to do something with pinks. And I ultimately decided on the pinks, and I picked her because her hair alone gave me a lot of variety. But when I was looking through trying to pick like if I should have done reds or pinks, a lot of the red designs kind of had a lot of similar shades to where I feel like if I had picked, you know, if I had picked one of the red like the more kind of like red based designs and then laid them all out, it would be hard to like distinguish between which VTuber I had picked for the design if I didn't, you know, like include an image of them like alongside the palette, or if I hadn't like written their name on top of it, if that makes sense. So that's why I picked Karina. Her hair was probably one of the best like like one of the best things about her palette, in my personal opinion. I love the variety. I love how I love pink in general. So it's no wonder that, you know, I'm a big sucker for her model. Um, but I also just like how the other colors in her design kind of like mesh with the pinks. Um, like how she has, you know, like the golden parts in her eyes, I think are absolutely breathtaking. And then in her actual design, kind of she has like the more kind of like purples. Like I know it's meant to be kind of like leather, or not, is it, would it be leather latex? I don't even fucking know, man. um but I think that she visually just gave me a lot of opportunities to kind of like play with those colors. um for the layout of it, I again, my intention for this one was going from right to left. um I intentionally kind of separated the pinks and the purples, just because I wanted to kind of like give like a visual contrast. Um, because one thing's about like her model in particular is like how her hair right here kind of like um it's kind of just like a stark difference between her eyes and then between like the rest of her outfit. So I kind of wanted to, I guess, in like put that into kind of like a visual sense. So you have her hair, you have her eyes and her golden kind of like details, and then you kind of have um like the main body colors, which is how I wanted to lay it out. Um and then um for the perfume I picked for her, I picked the Lancome La Nuit Tesser Le Parfum. Um I I don't know why. I feel like um I feel like I feel like this is kind of like a palette you would like use if you were going to like a wine tasting. And this perfume has kind of like hints of kind of like um wood, amber, has kind of like there's like a specific fruit in here that I can't remember what it's I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's very kind of like it's kind of like one of those like sweet smells that you get when you go to a wine tasting. And that's just kind of like what I feel like she would give with this palette, is like, I'm gonna go to like a really like nice like wine tasting, and I'm gonna do like kind of I'm gonna use like these colors to kind of like make a like a smoky eye, and then use these darker purples as well. So that's the kind of vibes that she gives me. But she was a lot of fun to design. I'm gonna take a drink again. All right. I think I'm getting into the kind of last like little section of them. I think I have like 9 more to go. If I'm correct. Yes, I am correct. So, we have Vil and Liv. So obviously Vil is the actual VTuber, so he's the little crab, and his mascot is Liv. So obviously I have to include the both of them in it. It mainly focuses on Liv's design, but I do include you know, Vil, he's the center of the whole design with that bright red color in the middle. But Vil very much lives in paradise with Liv, and I wanted to encompass that vibe. So I focused on that column gradient. So starting at yellow, then leading into kind of like the softer kind of like orange, like softer oranges that show up in her in Liv's design. Then kind of transitioning into kind of like soft pink, then going into this red where you have where that represents Vil himself. And then you kind of go into her outfit that Liv is wearing, and then you have focusing on her her eye color in kind of like this last section, because she has some of the prettiest motherfucking eyes I have ever seen. So it's definitely, this one is definitely, you view it from right to left, but then you also can view it as in like you view it kind of like in that kind of like rainbow order, kind of like in those like sections themselves. So you're kind of just like, ooh, rainbow. And then there's no fucking doubt that I would pick the Jean Paul La Belle Paradise perfume for Vil and Liv. Smells exactly like water lilies and the ocean. It's very fresh, it's fruity, not fruity, it's floral, and it reminds you of like lounging by the pool on like a summer day. And I think that's exactly the kind of vibes that Vil and Liv bring to every into every room that they go into. I remember when I met Vil at TwitchCon, Jesus Christ, I was a little fangirl. But they wore Hawaiian shirts very frequently, and I'm like, you know, I bet this just gives Hawaiian shirt vibes. It's just like, this is probably one of my personal favorite palettes to do. Yeah, it's a Vil makeup palette. He's such a sweet guy. He really is. I'm so grateful that I got to meet him, and I was a brave bean and finally talked to him at Vil is why I have sleeveless Hawaiian shirts. Really? Is that why? I thought you, well, I know you hate sleeves. But I didn't know he was the reason why. But what do we think of Vil and Liv's palette? He is the inspo. Gotcha. Oh my god, my hair is a fucking mess right now. I'm giving myself a little bit of grace considering my condition. Okay. But that's Vil and Liv. And then next we have Havo. So Havo is kind of like my green and kind of neutral toned palette that I came up with. I know that like his main kind of like color scheme is kind of like those like these kind of like main like these kind of like darker neutral colors, but his eyes are the prettiest shade of green, and then his snake eyes also have, or his hair's snake eyes have like that same kind of greens in there, and I wanted to make sure that they all got represented. Um, so your eyes are definitely drawn more to this side. Um, it was organized in a way so that it was so they kind of like wouldn't clash. It was specifically split like that for a reason. Um, just I focused more on like I made sure that the neutral colors had a bit more or had like another row just because they're the primary colors inside the entire palette. Um, but the eyes are still very much like important for the design together. Um, and then if you were to kind of break it up into the different sections, so if you start with the kind of like the neutral section, you have a column here, column here, column here, column here, and then same thing with this kind of this green section. You have kind of like these colors and these, and then kind of like wrapping around like this. And I definitely had to make sure that the kind of like the gold colors in his design were shimmer shades. And then I obviously wanted to make sure like the brightest green that they had in here was a shimmer shade. Yeah. Card, thank you so much for the raid. Hi guys, for those of you who don't know, I'm Velocity VT. I'm a bashful monster racer who drives a sentient motorcycle named Rush. I'm a variety Twitch streamer, but right now we're going over the makeup palettes that I designed. Hehehe. Hope you guys are doing well. It's going pretty good. Thank you so much for asking. Okay. So that's the kind of intention for the color layout and the color choices. And then for the perfume, I selected the Orabella Salted Muse. I feel like the palette kind of just gives earthy, like you're in a rainforest and you know are getting your hands dirty. You're kind of just like one with nature in a way. Personally, I don't like the way that the Orabella smells on me. I think that it smells really good on paper, but my body chemistry just doesn't mesh well with it. But I feel like if you were to pair this palette together with the Orabella, I feel like they fit well together. Like smell wise, you would kind of just like you would pair like the palette with the perfume, and then you would have like kind of like a green brown outfit to kind of like match the whole vibe. That's the kind of energy that I get from this palette. What do you guys think? How do we feel about Havo's palette? We like it, we don't like it. I'm curious. Very green, very Havo. Well, that'll change in a second when I go over to the next palette. But let's move on to Lucy's palette. So Lucy is a very recently new VTuber to the community. But they've been part of my community for a little while. And they have very much kind of like a like an orange and kind of like a darker color scheme. So layout wise, I wanted to make it so that people look from left to right for this palette. So you have the lighter colors of his model on this top row. We're staying in like this, like a similar vein as in lightest colors up here, kind of like the middle colors are like the, obviously like kind of like this next darkest, and then you have the bottom row, which is the darkest version of each of these colors. Just making sure that like it just kind of like makes sense that way. So your eyes are gonna be naturally drawn this way. I loved making this palette. It just reminds me of like Halloween, and maybe you could do like a jack-o'-lantern like design with these colors, with like that bright yellow right here, to kind of like give it like that same kind of shine that you would get from the inside of a pumpkin. But this bottom row is definitely my favorite. It feels, I don't know what it is about it. It feels fun. It feels like, it feels comforting. It feels cozy. Mine's the best, hands down, to be honest. I think you might be biased. But I definitely wanted to make sure that there was a balance of neutral colors, neutral colors, and then also colors that represent more of what Lucy's palette looks like. So again, you can go from left to right on this, but then if you also look, the center color is the lightest color. And then if you look at it based off like the sections, you can kind of go into these darker colors, kind of going out that way. So there's multiple ways you can view it. I think that it works either way, depending on kind of like what vibes you're going for the design itself. But I think that people can come up with very cozy fall or fun Halloween designs with his palette. And then speaking of fall, I decided to pair Lucy's palette with the Versace Eros Najim cologne. Smells exactly like fall. It's woody, it has amber, it's crisp. It literally smells like you are walking through like a park with like fall going on around you. You have the leaves on the ground. Like fall has a very like distinctive smell, and if you know what I'm talking about. And the Versace Eros Najim definitely encompasses that whole vibe that that I think that this palette has. So you definitely are going to like a Halloween party with this eyeshadow palette and your Halloween costume, and you're pairing it with this nice cologne, and that's Lucy's palette. This was a lot of fun to do. I loved working on your palette. So many wonderful designs that I was, that were submitted, and I wish I could like do them all, but I didn't want to burn myself out by doing so many. So doing it this way made things enjoyable for me so that I can hopefully keep doing this in the future if people like what I did today. So, alright. But let's move on to Giggles! Versace Arrows is such a good shout for this one. On God. So we have Giggles here. My friend Jigs recently started getting into VTubing, and they are a clown bear VTuber. So for the color layout, obviously they have like a very they have like a fun, silly color scheme with the yellows, the blues, and the reds. But they also have the neutral colors in their hair. So I wanted to make sure that there was variety in that way. So for this palette in particular, the idea is that you view it from the center. And if you're wanting to do kind of like more playful eyeshadow looks, you go to the right-hand side of the palette. And then if you want more neutral colors, you go kind of like in this direction. The top row can also be kind of viewed in that same way, and that if you want kind of like more, you go from this color to these two, or you can go from here to here, that kind of represent like the hair, the natural hair color. But they're all kind of like shades of yellow in this top row. And then same thing with the middle. If you want more blues, you go that way. If you want more kind of like, these have blue undertones, so if you want but you want neutral kind of looking blues, you go this way. And then for the reds, it's kind of like you can't really, I didn't want to do like a pink, so I just picked one of like the I did the lightest shade I could for the reds that still made sense for the palette. So people can combine like this white color with this one and kind of go in that direction. And then the same thing with this one, because I wanted to balance out all the all the vibrant colors. So it goes from this kind of like white neutral color into kind of like these darker kind of colors, just to kind of keep everything balanced. And for for the shits and giggles, no pun intended, I picked another Marc Jacobs perfume for Giggles palette. I picked the Marc Jacobs Murakami, which is a recently new released perfume, and I'm obsessed with it. Not just because of how the perfume is designed. It's very fun. Marc Jacobs is absolutely amazing with how they design their perfume bottles. But I picked the smell of the perfume specifically off of just kind of like these colors in particular. They feel fun and they feel energetic, and this smells exactly like a raspberry like candy. I would say kind of like a mix between like a red raspberry and like a nectarine. It's very fun, it's very sweet, it's very bouncy. And like when you smell it, you kind of just like, you feel, at least me personally, I love the smell of raspberries. So I feel energized when I smell it, and it makes me happy. So, and I think with Giggles being a clown, it kind of just makes sense that you would want the the way that you look and the way that you smell to kind of like make people happy. So that's why I picked the Marc Jacobs Murakami. I know the, you know, like the dark, kind of like the darker colors don't really encompass that, you know, that same feeling, but you know, like some people, I also think that like when you do kind of like when people like judge people by their like how they look, you're like, you never know, like, you know, you see kind of like, you know, these darker colors and stuff like that, but you but you're like, oh, I don't really, you know them that well, but as you get to know them, you kind of see like the brighter side of a person. So that's kind of how I interpreted the palette myself. Because I definitely felt that way a lot when I was first getting to know them. So it kind of just, it didn't like, you know, you know, it wasn't always, you know, super bad. And then, you know, as I got to know them, things started to get a little bit brighter. And, you know, now, you know, I consider them one of like my very close friends and I love them very much. And I love their wife too. I love you, baby doll. But now we're kind of getting into the last four that we have. Next we have Dead Girl Cherry. So Cherry is a zombie VTuber. And I had so much fun doing her design as well. So obviously she has very kind of like, she has like a very kind of like split color palette. She has the greens, and then she has the orange in her hair, and then she has hints of pinks around her design. My main focus was her hair, so that's why it's in the center of the palette. So you have what represents her hair color in the center part, and then kind of like those like different shades that you can kind of just find throughout her hair. And then for her on the left hand side of the model, of the palette, you have the greens that represent her skin, and have like light shades of it. You kind of have like a cooler green for some of the shadows that she has. You have this this kind of like muddy looking green for her kind of like chest area, where she kind of like has stuff like patched in. But she has like, she has very like bright shades of green and lots of different shades of green throughout her model, which I think can be like, it can be really hard. I don't really, you know what I also don't really see? I don't really see a lot of green palettes. So, I would love to see like more kind of like green focused palettes. Because I like doing green eyeshadow looks, if that makes sense. And then on the right-hand side of the palette, I kind of focus on the pinks that are in her model. And then obviously, like, she has, like, that main color kind of, like, white in her base outfit. So we have white here, and then we kind of have, like softer color. So this is kind of like a softer kind of, like, gray. And then this one is kind of, like, more going into the purpley kind of shades of gray. And then you kind of just have like these brighter pink colors. Definitely had to make sure that one of the brightest colors, or one of the shimmer colors, was that green. I left her hair color, which is the center part, or like one of the, like the highlight colors in her hair actually was kind of like center, but her main hair color is this, the shimmery one right here. And then picked another shimmer shade for the oranges, just because there's a lot more color variety for the oranges than there are for the for the rest of them, and then picked a kind of like a medium kind of color between these kind of three to make into a shimmer shade. And then for if you're kind of like looking at these shades in particular, you would put this shade down first, and then you would kind of like make this on the, or put this on the outer corners of your eyes, and then put this over top to kind of like blend it all together. And that's how I designed Cherry's palette. And then for her perfume, I picked the Gucci Flora Gardenia. This was like this is like one of my, I think, again, like maybe in like the top 5 perfumes that I really like. I love the Gucci Flora line for their perfumes. I think that they're executed absolutely well. Cherry's just very sweet. She's just a sweet girl, and I think that this kind of like, despite, you know, like there being kind of like, you know, darker greens in here, Cherry's a very soft person, and I think that the Gucci Flora Gardenia kind of encompasses the soft side of Cherry, and I think that it, I guess, matches perfectly with her palette. So that's Cherry. And then what do you guys think of Cherry's palette? Do you think the color layout looks good? What do you think? What thing do we like? Do we hate? If you hate it, don't tell me. I don't want to know. The fragrances are also spot on. Thank you. I hope you feel that way about yours. But speaking of which, the next girl we have is Stargirl. So I've known Stargirl for 6 years at this point. We've known each other for a long ass time. But for color layout, Stargirl has her main model, which is, you know, right here, and then we're so old. Stargirl has her main model right here. Absolutely breathtaking, absolutely stunning, absolute beautiful girl. It fits a little too well. It fits a little too well, Angel. But Stargirl has a alternative version of her model called Nova. So I wanted to incorporate both Starry, which is the name of her VTuber model, and I also wanted to include Nova in her palette. So the top row is more of a representation of Stargirl herself, going from, the layout of it is meant to kind of looking from the middle, kind of going out, depending on which way you want to which way you want to go, if you want to go more towards the yellows or if you want to go more towards the browns. The middle row is kind of like a representation of what they are together. This is kind of like the celestial center of the palette. And it's, you know, we have like, you know, Stargirl's like, you know, under hair color kind of going off into this way. And then you have, again, more like softer blues kind of like fading out that way. And then on the bottom row, we have Nova's color palette. So you can look at this palette from a couple different angles. The color story can change depending on how you're seeing it. So, but the one thing for certain is that Stargirl is represented on top. She is what people see on the surface, and then Nova is the, on the bottom. She is the corrupted form of Starry, and it just kind of shows that Stargirl has a lot to her that people don't see, and knowing her so long, I have gotten to see those parts, and I'm extremely grateful she has trusted me with that. But and then you have the middle of the palette, which is kind of like the representation of what the surface looks like, what she chooses to show, and then what Nova represents, that combination. So that's the color story for her palette. And then it's no brainer that I would pick the Ariana Grande Cloud Perfume. It's sweet, it's fun, it's bouncy. That's exactly what kind of vibes I get from this palette. It's just, but it's also comfy and cozy and makes you feel like you're, on cloud nine, which is kind of funny. So that's why I chose the Ariana Grande Cloud Perfume. I need to, though. This is kind of just like what I feel like you would pair with this, what you would pair with this palette in particular. I don't know if you personally would like it, Angel, but I think that it fits the color story, fits the vibe of the palette. But it does smell really good. I would say again, like, spraying it on your skin is probably the most important thing because your body chemistry will change how it smells. But yeah, that's the Stargirl palette. I hope you like it. Alright, but next we have my friend Succubay. So, she definitely has a more purple color scheme. And her color story goes from right to left, starting with these lighter colors and then delving more into the purples. The lighter colors right here kind of like just a representation of her skin tone, kind of like the pinks in her skin, the kind of like the flushness in her cheeks. And then she obviously has gold accents in her clothing, so that was important to include. And I also just wanted to include some kind of like more neutral browns, just to keep everything balanced. And then going into her eye color, you have kind of like these bright like magentas in there, and then you're kind of like leading into kind of like the purples in her outfit and her hair. So it's definitely more, you want to read it from right to left, just so everything kind of flows consistently together. And you can also kind of look at it as the kind of like those words, those like columns again. So this, you have these kind of ones that kind of fit together. You have this one that fits together, then these, then these, then those, and those, and then these kind of just sit here as well. And then for her perfume, I chose the Versace Dylan Purple Pour Femme, not just because of the color, but because I feel like I feel like like succubay. Like she just gives like regal vibes. And when I smell the Dylan Purple Parfum, it smells like a fucking fruit platter that you would get served if you were like fucking royalty. You know what I mean? Like, you know those like cliche like, oh, you're lounging on kind of like one of those fainting chairs and you're being like hand fed like grapes and other like decadent fruits and shit. That's what I feel like this palette gives. So the Dylan Parfum has grapefruit, has what else in it? I can't. There's so many different like undertones to it. But I know grapefruit is definitely one of like those kind of tones. I think fig as well is also in here. Fig and plum. And it's very, very sweet, and it gives like I'm like that bitch, you know what I mean? So that's why I chose the Dylan Purple Parfum from Versace. And this is Succubay's palette. Eee! So many beautiful fucking designs. It was so hard to fucking pick everything. But I think I got a really good variety of people. But let's move on to Crizzy! So, Crizzy is a red knee tarantula VTuber. She is my fucking baby, and I love her. Like Lucy, she gives, Halloween vibes. But she delves more, she also has just, some more, like more purpley colors in her design as well, which you can kind of get in her eye color. But so her color scheme, you definitely focus from the center part, kind of going out towards either direction depending on what you're interested in. So from the center part, you kind of have like, so starting at the top row, you have like the grays kind of going that way, and then you kind of have a little bit more kind of neutral colors. From the center going towards the right, you kind of have you have like an off like purple, but then kind of like leading into kind of like more browns and stuff like that, which are more prominent in her design. Middle row, you kind of have like the yellows in her eyes, kind of like the main focus, and again like more browns in her design. And then you also have from the center part going towards the left, you kind of have like the off, kind of like the more, this is probably like the, probably like one of the lightest colors in her hair. And then kind of leading into kind of like more, like kind of like muted orange colors. And then for the bottom row, you have kind of like more prominently orange colors in her main color scheme, kind of going into like the like off black kind of like bluish color. And then from kind of this side going towards the left, you see kind of like more kind of like more purple kind of tones in her iris, not iris, in her pupil. Or is it the iris? No, it is the iris. I know anatomy, right? Right. But kind of like going into this section, you kind of just have like those like purple colors that show up in her eyes, kind of like around the outer edges of her eyes. And for her perfume, I picked the Dolce & Gabbana Devotion Intense. The intense version has like a candied orange smell. Like the OG Devotion has that same kind of like candied orange smell, but the Dolce Gabbana Devotion Intense has those same notes of the candied orange mixed with kind of like a amber and vanilla scent to it. So it reminds me of like kind of like one of those like simmer pots that you would put on during the fall if you want your house to smell kind of cozy and toasty. And you would put on like a Halloween movie and, you know, just take all the leaves in when they're falling outside the window. That's just the kind of vibe that this palette gives me. But I had so much fun working on this. I struggled so bad with like deciding on like who I wanted to pick. But I thought her design would give me a little bit of a challenge considering she has 3 primary colors, which is the orange, black, and white. But I thought, you know, I would give it my best to try to create a palette based off my friend. But yeah. I just got an ad for Downy Unstoppables. Is Twitch telling me I'm stinky? I don't know why I would tell you you're stinky. I think you smell great. I think I literally fucking... Didn't I like hug you and at TwitchCon, not TwitchCon, NPC this year, and I literally like sniffed your neck because you smelled good? Did I not do that this year? But let's move on to the final one, which is my love, Jinx. I love Jinx so much. She, this was completely unintentional. Gay as hell. Jinx's primary colors are pink, yellow, and blue. And for her palette, color story. So again, it definitely starts in the middle and kind of works your way out from the center parts. So you go from kind of like these colors to this color and then out that way. Same thing from to the left hand side, going from the center, going to the right or to the left, and then same thing with the bottom row. The right hand side of her palette kind of represents her kind of like main feature colors, which is that, again, that pink, that yellow, and that blue. So just having those different versions of the blues in her palette was really important. There's like the darker blue for her lollipop, which I put right here. You kind of have like the bright yellow in her eyes, so I put that there. And then the kind of like main like pink in the body, I kept it right here. And just making sure that, you know, like you have the ability to kind of like go as light as you want. There's lots of variety. And then in her main outfit design, you have like kind of like purples and maroons, and then you also have kind of like the blacks and the grays, so that was important to incorporate. And then again, even more kind of like of the purples and grays that you see in her model. And for her perfume, I picked the Prada Candy EDP. This one's pretty cut and dry for why I chose her perfume that way. She is very sweet. She smells like candy. Candy and strawberry specifically. So it makes sense that I would pick the Prada Candy for her. It's very sweet. It's very potent, I will say. I love the way that like certain like sweet smelling perfumes are, and the Prada Candy is probably like one of my favorite sweet smelling ones. some people don't like the way like it smells on their body, but again, that's just body chemistry kind of changing how it smells. Um, but yeah. And with that, that is all of the fucking palettes. What'd you guys think? I hope you guys liked all the palettes that I fucking made. I had so much fun working on every single one of them. They were super super fun to make. And getting people's opinions and working on like laying out the colors and like changing how like a shade by a certain like, you know, by just a little bit can make a huge difference. I am so grateful that I got to do something fun like this, and really kind of just play into one of like my personal like passions in life. I think that I missed most of them. I think it's okay. I think that people think that makeup is purely just cosmetic. And you know, it's to make people beautiful, but I see makeup for all of its capabilities. Makeup doesn't have just the power to make people feel confident and beautiful. It has the power to change your appearance altogether. There's SFX makeup that turns people from really pretty into like monsters for horror films. Makeup can help change the aging appearance of somebody. It can make somebody look younger. It can make somebody look older. Makeup is a powerful tool that can be used in a variety of ways that can be beneficial in their own right. And I would love to see more people kind of play with the idea of makeup, because makeup's for everybody. Like people are like, oh, you know, makeup's, you know, for traditionally like femme presenting people, but some of the most like popular makeup companies in the industry are owned by men. Like obviously, you know, like it's a woman dominated field, but there are male presenting people in this world who have that same passion for makeup, and they want to give people that same confidence that, you know, mainly woman owned brands try to accomplish. So makeup is a very powerful tool, and I love how confident it has made me in myself. I love playing with color. I love playing with SFX makeup. And I love that I was able to share my passion with all of you guys. I literally had so much fun making this, and I am absolutely hoping that people would love to see more of it from me. I would love to make more makeup palettes of VTubers. So if you guys like that, please yell at me to do it more often. I cannot wait to do this again. Even if like people, I think I might try to do it maybe like every now and then. I don't want to do it so frequently that people kind of just like lose interest, you know what I mean? I just don't want it to, I don't want it to like lose its I guess lose its spark is what I'm concerned about. I just I don't want to burn it out, you know what I mean? Hello, welcome in. I burped. My fault. I got hiccup. Which one was your favorite palette though? From the ones that you saw, which one was your favorite? Also, if you were featured and you would like me to send you your palette so you can have it for yourself, please let me know. Either DM me on Twitter, or if you know me personally you can DM me on Discord and I will send it to you so you can have your palette. Let me see. I will be right back, guys. And then we'll probably be heading out here soon. But I'll be right back.
Man, I'm really trying to stay together. If you have my eyes, you see my ties are getting severed. Ego's been low, but I've been trying to be better. These cold wind blows and I ain't dying to the weather, but I ain't nothing special. Pretty pathetic if you ask, cause I keep losing every single thing I wish that I had. And every moment I fucked up and should've took, but I tagged. So now I question, am I up to the task? Out of my mind, out of my brain. Think I go psycho, think I'm insane. Running in circles, stuck in this place. My demons came out, can't look at my face. Heart's been frozen over, but I won't get cozy. Don't run away from me. Blood on the leaves, down on my knees. Don't wanna believe that I'm not me. But I knew that deep down I am me. Father, forgive me, cause I've been cleaning with the devil. Did his dirty work cause I'm the vessel. See, I've been in the days looking back at what I blazed. This inferno was eternal, that a motherfucking face. Like a murder in my mind sometimes, but my demon to my conscience. Eye for eye, now I'm switching up my mindset. Why am I alive? Cause it ain't my time yet. I rewind if I thought that I could stop this. You can put the blame on me. Goddamn, goddamn, why'd you take all three? Baptized in the blood of my brothers, and now I'm putting you under that your mistake. You gotta take on me. This what you wanted, you better regret it.
I'm not cute. What the fuck? Let me see. Who is live? Let me mute this. You are cute? Nuh-uh. What the hell? Okay. Gotta fucking look. The fuck? Nuh-uh. What the hell? Who do we want to pass the love to? I'm gonna copy my raid message while I try to fucking figure it out. Alright, we're gonna copy my raid message, guys. And then I'm gonna fucking record my outro later on, because I get nervous about doing that. Do we wanna find... That's not what I want to do. What the fuck? Go feel okay. I fucking wish I felt okay. I need to. I'm tired of being ill. I didn't deserve it. My fucking fuck the person who got me sick. You know what I mean? Fuck the person who got me sick. Like, what did I do to deserve this? I'm just a baby. Bach. You know what? Let's raid. We're gonna raid Reaper Whale again. But thank you guys so much for joining me today. My schedule for next week comes out tomorrow. So if you would like to see what I'm doing for the rest of the week, be sure to check on Twitter, YouTube, and in my Discord server. I'm typically live 5 days a week. I try to be. But if you want to see what we're doing this week, you better fucking join. And then, with that being said, let's raid Reaper. Give her some love. Alright, guys. Behave for Reaper, or I'll cry. And I will see you guys, next time.